Hi guys, welcome to Johnny Mathematics. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Just over a year, maybe 18 months, I don't know, okay? I am going to, with the help of my daughter Nina, teach you today a biggie, Soh Cah Toa Trigonometry, okay? Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It might encourage me to do more, perhaps. Okay, so put the heading Soh Cah Toa Trigonometry. Right, and I'm going to go a step-by-step approach to answering this. Okay, there's more to it, but I want to just cut it down to the bones, help you with your GCSEs and your mocks. Okay, so this is skill number 1. Okay, Nina, you might want to look at this. So if we've got a triangle here, then we've got to label it. So here is the angle. Which side do you think is the opposite to the angle?
The top left-hand side.
So you're in here, and the opposite one is kind of, well, it's kind of opposite really, opposite there. Then the hypotenuse is always the one that's facing the right angle, and the adjacent is the other one. So opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. So first thing you need to be able to do is to be able to label them opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent. So I want you to pause the video and try and label all these 4. Right, let's see if you got it right. Opposite, adjacent, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Did you get those all right? I kind of hope you did. Right, let's go on to a GCSE question. So, by the way, can you copy this down please? And I'll explain what it means in a second. Okay? So, here, Nina is a triangle. It's supposed to be 30 degrees. What do you think the first thing is you're going to do, Nina? Well, you're going to label it opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent. So, we're going to label it OHA. Okay? Label OHA. Then there's a bunch of other stuff you need to know. You need to be able to go Soh Cah Toa, Soh Cah Toa, Soh Cah Toa. Say it, Nina.
Soh Cah Toa, Soh Cah Toa.
Say it at home. Soh Cah Toa, Soh Cah Toa. You need to be able to write it down, and you need to be able to write down the 3 rules. Sin of the angle, that's theta, the angle, is O over H. Cos, A over H. Tan, O over A. Okay? Right, here's a question. We're going to do an example, and you're going to answer 3 questions. Okay? So we've labelled it OHA. Now, which of the 3 rules do you think it is? Well, we've got an O and a H in it. Okay? It's either sin, cos, or tan. Well, the one that's got O and H in it is this one here. This is the rule. So you're going to write down the rule. Sin of the angle is O over H. So we've written down the rule, and now we're going to replace what we know. So we know the angle, we know what the opposite is, and we know the hypotenuse. Okay? So you know, I've got to assume if you're here that we can actually, we can rearrange formula, and you'd probably times both sides by 18. So 18 sin 30 equals x. And then you need a scientific calculator. You're going to press your buttons on your calculator and you're going to end up with an answer of, that's going to be 9. So x would equal 9. Quick recap what we did. We labelled the sides. We decided which one of the rules it was. Okay. And we got O and H in it. The only one with O and H in is sin. We wrote down the rule, we replaced what we knew, and then we answered it. Okay? I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay, and have a go. Do pause the video. Question 1. And question 2. Let's just start you off. Actually, let's just ask 2 questions. Let's just start you off with question 1. So we're going to label it opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent. Can you see which one of the 3 it's going to be? Whether it's going to be sin, cos or tan? Well, adjacent, hypotenuse, AH, it's going to be cos. Finish it off please. So do pause the video and have a go at those questions. Now the answers are 14.1, hope you got that right, and 20.1. That's rounded to 1 decimal place. Okay, so this is the step, the first step. There's 3 distinct steps, okay, and this is the easiest. Right, so you might want to put the heading step 2, okay. There you go, that's number 1. How are we doing for time in here?
Just hit 8 minutes.
8 minutes, not bad. Okay, right, step 2. So, here is another triangle. Slightly different one this time. 8, 13. And this time, we're going to try to work out the angle. Okay, so what do you think the first thing we're going to do is? Well, we're going to label the sides. Okay, I'm labelling opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Okay, decide whether you think it's sin, cos or tan. Well, which one's got O and A in it? It's tan. So we are gonna write down the rule. Tan of the angle is O over A, opposite over adjacent. We're gonna replace what we know. Tan of x equals 8 over 13. And then at this point here, we need to know a little trick to get the answer, okay? Which you quite possibly won't know. In order to press the buttons on your calculator, to get the tan on the other side, we're actually going to go tan to the -1 of 8 over 13. And that's inverse tan on your calculator. And if you press your buttons correctly, you'll have an answer of 31.6 degrees. Okay, Yeah, that's it really. Do these two questions. So question 1. They all follow on quite nicely from each other. There you go, there's question 1. And question 2, let's do that here. So if you can pause the video and try and answer those questions, it's really important you practice these skills. And your answers should be 34.8 for number 1, and number 2 is 68.4. Again, I hope you got that right, okay? So that is the kind of not the first step, we've done that, this is the second step. So we're now on the hardest type of questions. We've just got time for one of those, okay? So could you put the heading, step 3? Right. So this is the toughest type. Now, strictly speaking, this is level 5. All these questions are Soh Cah Toa, but my experience is that people tend to get this wrong. So I think it's well worth doing for the higher and for the foundation papers, okay? Or any other qualifications for that matter, okay? Now, how do you think we start this question off? Well, it's just like all the others, we're going to label it. I'm labeling. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Okay? Is it sin, cos, or tan? Well, adjacent hypotenuse, it's cos, right? I'm going to write down the rule. Cos of the angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. I'm gonna replace what I know. Cos of 40 equals 8 over x. Now, this is a really big deal, this. The rearrangement here to make x the subject, okay? These are the two steps that I always go through. I would go, the opposite of divide is times, so it's over here. And then the opposite of times is divide to put the cos 40 on the other side. Okay, so you then just have to press the buttons of your calculator and bosh, out comes the answer 10.4. Yes. I'm literally going to, time constraints, ask one more question, one last question. Hope you get it right, okay? This is the toughest Soh Cah Toa kind of question you're going to get. Here you go. If you can get this right, we're in a pretty good place, I would say. So, do pause the video and let's see if you got it right. The answer is 69.66. I hope you got that right. Yeah, that was trigonometry. I think you probably need to practice some more questions in fairness, but there's my explanation for trigonometry. Thank you, Nina, and thank you for watching at home, guys. See you next time.